Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely join. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this conversation right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Sleeping Warrior, Chocolate Saiyan, Paul, and a whole bunch of people on Discord. Shout out to Colin Turner straight away for hitting the super chat. Welcome, one and all.
Hey. Good morning.
Hello. Before you start housekeeping, can I finish my thought with Anthony? I don't know if you were catching any of that.
I don't know. I think maybe we should start the conversation again, Paul, for the benefit of the people watching live.
No, well, because the people who are watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel have just heard your spiel, so we will just do housekeeping. That's the point of it. Do it first. If you can hold that thought, Paul, I'm really sorry. We'll rattle it through it as quickly as we can. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Absolutely none.
Nope.
Any signs of axial rotation? Feel free to pipe up if you're in Discord. Hopefully you're all off mute.
Only the stars. Can't tell what's moving.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Definitely none.
Of course not.
How do you prove the bending of space-time?
Just a conceptual medium, so you can't.
More time.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Definitely not.
No way.
Anyone on Discord? I always hold out real hope for that one. Anybody?
For anybody in Discord that can present some evidence for your fundamentalist religious belief.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
You can prove it's a physical object, Nathan.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No.
Last. Oh, was that somebody, Travis?
Nada.
No.
What I did want to ask was, you say it's a religious belief. I've always thought, why that religion? What is so appealing about this religious belief and the other religious beliefs?
Well, I think it's the
Doesn't have
removal of
God.
God.
This one is evolution based, no God.
Yeah. They just don't want to be creationists or religious guys that believe in some god of some kind. They would rather believe that there was a cosmic ejaculation and we all resulted from it.
That would mean then, I mean, again, I don't know, but would that mean this religion that they are subscribing to is the false religion, and there is actually a true religion? Or is it
Maybe
that there are no true religions? I mean, how do we look at that now? Because if we understand, science is a way of knowing things, and
Look up the word religious. Get the definition of the word religious. And
I just hear a lot. I just hear a lot banded by flat earthers, religious belief, and I'm thinking, well, why that religion? And is that to say that there is a true religion, or
I don't know about any true religion. I just know that the religion of sun worship or us travelling around the sun is nonsense, and the people who pursue that interest with great devotion are religious, as far as I am concerned.
Hello.
Hello, Armin. Last but by no means least. Go on, Tvis, go on.
I'm religious about being on the show first in the morning because I wake up early.
I want to get through the housekeeping because Paul's sat on tenterhooks, I'm sure. Right, so any evidence of gas pressure being maintained without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Absolutely not.
That's technically impossible.
Anyone in Discord?
Second class
Only
history
a
in
misunderstanding would
Discord
lead
says
you
no.
to believe that. That would be possible.
Okay, Paul, mic's all yours.
Well, I want to make a comment about the religion aspect first, and then I'll get into Anthony's, or what me and Anthony were talking, or Anthony was talking about. You've only got two things to worship, either a supreme being or the creation. And so if you think the creation is all there is, then you worship the creation. But if there's God created everything, then you worship the creator. So there is only two options in that regard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
On the,
I kind of agree.
What'd you say? Somebody said I agree with him.
I agree a bit, yeah. I think you can also worship the non-God, yeah, so the creation. But I think worshipping the fact that the creation comes from no God is part of the worship.
Right, you worship in the creation, not the creator.
Yeah.
So
they're escaping from the
yeah.
the
You're going to worship
figure in the
something. It's just
sky
what's your
that
object of your what's your object of your worship. Everybody worships something.
not if everyone wants a monarch in the sky judging them, so some people find that a relief to get away from that.
Exactly. Well, back to what Anthony was saying on the court cases. The problem with the court case is this. I mean, I've got court case. I mean, I was going to equate it to the vaccine because I think I spent most of my time over the last couple of years studying the vaccines. I've actually got court cases saved on my hard drive of where people have won proving that vaccines cause autism. There was a $2.5 million lawsuit filed, and the plaintiff won. Okay, regarding that. Now, you still got within the political system, the healthcare system, saying that that's not true. So I don't know if the winning in a court of law will be the determining factor. It shows the strength of the case, but it doesn't necessarily be I don't think it'll be the determining factor. And even I think a few days ago, there was either this week or last week, where Brenda came on and was talking about the Zen-Garcia thing, and she was dismissing it out of hand. And I've actually talked to people about the court cases regarding the vaccines, and they say, well, anybody can win anything in court. And I'm going like, then what's the point? So what's the point of the court case?
Because Paul, it's about public opinion. Public opinion is what sways the decision. So O.J. Simpson was very public. Michael Jackson was very public. These are high-profile court cases, and usually the public have an opinion on the outcome. So if Flat Earth went to court, it would have to be such a high-profile case where everybody is watching. Everyone's involved, and because it affects like parents and children and things like this. I think that would sway the decision on whether what is taught in the school. You see, so we push this, promote it. Oh, pay attention. There's a court case. This affects your decision on, what is being taught in the schools and things like that. So you're right. If it's low,
Bear with me, both of you. Sorry to interrupt you. So I'm just going to do a quick shout out. Shout out to Colin Turner, who says religion is what you are tied to. The key is in the etymology. Legio, if I'm saying that right, means I tie. Religion is anything that you are completely invested in. Shout out to Colin Turner for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
I like that description.
Let me just respond to Spurs. If we were to get the housekeeping points through court and have the basis for 5 points that are decided in court on the low level, on the QT, then we could use them to be the springboard into something significant a bit further down the line. Let's start with small cases that don't cost anything if you lose, because I think that would furnish the bigger case a bit further down the line.
Sorry, another shout out. Del West Watson says Nathan is my god. I will read out the super chats even when they're
false idolizing. You're going to hell, buddy.
Yeah.
Nathan likes that one.
Someone. Well, no, it's obviously embarrassing, but you know, I'm going to be reading out the super chats from now on. So when people put embarrassing things like that, or talk about farts as one did the other day, I'll still read them out. But shout out to Sean Tibbets also for hitting the super chat. Thank you also for your support. Sorry, Anthony. So
I was defending. Defending
Hold on,
Anthony,
Spurs. Hold on, Anthony. Hold on, Spurs. Anthony was mid-thought about his small court cases. Go ahead, Anthony. I interrupted him, you see. Sorry, Spurs.
I just think that we should get a couple of low-key ones in first and get like a couple of light jabs in first just to see what happens. And then once we get them, say we did get 5 through that were based on just 50 quid. It doesn't matter about the 50 quid. It's just about the principle or the point that was then demonstrated to either be successfully shown in court or unsuccessfully shown in court. We had like 4 or 5 cases under our belts, then we could make like bigger fish. We could attack bigger fish then, and I think that would be a good way to create the high-profile one a bit further down the line.
Oh, depends, Anthony. If you go for a big name like Musa, okay, or a Lawrence Krauss, or a DeGrasse, or any of these guys, you know, the bigger the name, the bigger the attraction. So yeah, of course you're right. Low-level cases just to get the word about. But like I say, if this is to be an international thing where everybody's paying attention, it's going to have to be a big name and someone who is relied upon by the people, right? So if you had someone like I said, Neil deGrasse, and he was debating in court with his proof or whatever, everybody who relies on these people would make a decision based off that, right? So if Neil deGrasse lost in court, what would that say? That would ring all around the scientific community, right? Let's say Stephen.
Well, here's a small problem.
But who is actually relying upon him, really? Who do you know?
I'm saying any big name you can think of.
This would help me
Well,
if I
this is
saw
a
him
serious
lose in
matter.
court for trying to prove the answer.
Right. That's what the ballers want. If someone like Dawn were to see a big name lose in court, which they would, of course, Dawn would have to scratch his head. Well, why did you lose? How could you lose such an easy case, right? And this is the thing that I see. So, but Anthony, yeah, you are right. We do those little cases, but the big court case will be the one that changes the people like Dawn, the people like Chris, the people like Rumpus, the people like Jem, you know, all of these guys that you really despise and think they're just messing around. They need to see things like this, right? Big court cases, big
like
names, big trials.
Haven't we already got this from Zen Garcia? Why aren't we just promoting it more? Just for
thinking.
FYI, Arwin, Del West Watson says it was a joke, Arwin. Thanks again for the super chat, Del West Watson.
We do already have it, only in the context of curvature, though. We've got the other housekeeping points that are worthy of challenging too, because if we were able to demonstrate the other ones, I mean, there's 6 or 7 of them, then we should be able to demonstrate that if we've got Zen Garcia failing to prove the curvature.
Sorry,
Dawn
decided that wasn't a point that needed to be heard. Do you want to start again, Anthony?
I'm sorry, I did it by mistake.
I'm just saying that Zen Garcia point is as good as it is. It's one of several points that would be, in my opinion, I don't think they would be able to be proven in court. And I think if we were to add to it with other points, then we could say, well, Zen Garcia showed that you guys couldn't prove curvature. And then we could say that such and such a body, Rumpus, for example, couldn't prove gravity. And then, I don't know, Dawn Treader couldn't prove axial rotation, and so on. I mean, what would be left if we had at least something that we could then use in all arguments from then on?
I was actually agreeing with it. I just interrupted to agree. Sorry.
Right,
Believe it or not, this is what for peace of mind. This is what the ball earthers want. They believe in the reputable.
Hello.
Hi.
This conversation isn't very interesting. Can we talk about the flat Earth instead?
We are talking about flat
This
Earth,
is great.
Dumbo.
Well, I kind of
Hold
agree.
on.
I think
Hold on a second, Darwin.
Schemo overestimates
Hold
how
on a second,
well he
Darwin.
knows
Sorry.
what globers are doing and why.
What's your name, my friend?
Greg.
What's the topic of conversation currently, Greg, before you interrupted?
Well, I just had some questions about
sorry,
how
that's not my
stars
question.
revolve.
I didn't ask you to give us a list of questions that you had. I asked you to summarise the topic of conversation before you interrupted. Go.
The summary of what I want to talk about.
No,
is how
not the summary of what you
stars
want to talk about, Dumbo. Listen carefully. I'll say it slower. Don't interrupt. Summarise the conversation you interrupted.
Oh, then summarize the conversation that I interrupted?
Yes.
you guys are strategizing about how to get this argument into court, so
What
that
argument?
hopefully you'll win some
What
court
argument?
case, and then that will somehow
Look,
provide more evidence of flat Earth in the public
Listen,
side.
what argument? What argument? What argument are they trying to get in court? Bearing in mind you've told us, can we talk about flat Earth?
Right.
What argument are they trying to get in?
I'm sorry, you misunderstood me. I'm not interested in listening to you guys strategize about court. So I'm asking if we could move on to something more interesting.
Oh, really? Doctor, who's speaking? Dr. Physics, is it?
Greg.
Greg. Where's Greg? Let's have a look.
I'm here.
Greg, you're not interested in listening about court cases, you say? I'll stick you on server mute and server deafen, and then you won't have to listen. Shut your stupid mouth.
No,
We're talking about flat Earth, you stupid dope. Spurs, let me berate this stupid asshole so the public can at least hear that this dick has just interrupted to talk about flat Earth when we are very specifically talking about the subject and getting it through court to convince people like Dawn, who has already admitted that would absolutely convince him. And this dick comes along and says, can we talk about flat Earth, please? Try and pay attention to the conversation next time, you stupid idiot.
Right. But I was going to ask him anyway, what would he present in court?
What would who?
I don't think he was interested in court at all. That's the whole point.
Yeah, if you're not interested, just shut your mouth till the conversation finishes.
Greg, I think you're back.
Greg can join in when the conversation comes off court. He's not interested in talking about it, apparently.
So
I don't know why you'd want to direct the conversation. I don't know why you'd want to direct the conversation. Oh my god.
So how would we
oh my god. So I'm still talking, Spurs. 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 Can you hear me talking? Spurs. Can you hear me in your headphones? Spurs. Can you hear me in your headphones or what?
Spurs is doing chemotherapy.
Can you hear me, Spurs?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to direct the conversation towards the very person that said, I don't want to talk about this conversation.
Right, sorry.
Talk about hijacking Anthony's point. Bloody good point. Bloody good conversation. Ruined by some dick.
What was the point again before that?
The point was that if we had a court decided case that said that you guys can't prove curvature or gravity or whatever, then we would never have to have a conversation with them again unless they up their game. Like, for example, in Jose's chat, if you go into Jose's chat, you just need to ask them, does anybody else on this panel think that gravity is a force? And there's always going to be somebody that says, yeah, I think it's a force. Just leave. There's no conversation if they're going to still push the preach button on gravity being a force. Just go to Google and type in, is gravity a force? And look at the results that you get, and they all say it's not a force. Ballers need to up the game.
Can I jump in for the break? The only problem another problem with going into court cases, the other person, whoever it is going to have to be willing to lose. So, you're talking about high profile, how all these high profile people trying to do this. I mean, if they were truly believed that they wanted to do this, then they would be on this debating it.
But you got to pinpoint the information.
Doesn't matter. I think you could have all the information lined up.
That does matter. In court, it does exactly matter. You can't just.
I'm talking about the high profile.
You have to be.
I'm talking about high profile. I'm talking about high profile. Like there's again, I'm going to use the vaccine as an example. There was in Atlanta, right there close to the CDC, the people that are questioning vaccines wanted to have a dialogue, a public dialogue, a public debate about the topic. And they invited disease specialists, neuroscientists. We invited this cross spectrum of people to come and have this conversation. And not one showed up. Not one showed up to the debate. Mm-hmm. Now, wonder why? Well, when the people that invited the people that invited them started talking about why they didn't come, is that they got pressure from somebody higher up telling them not to. And I know they know that if they even get into this dialogue.
But look, hold on. I want to cut this short because this could take a long time. But the point is, a vaccine company is a company. They're the producers. They are technically much more tied in with it than general information that just seems to
No.
be put into schools everywhere, and in the media system it's not so directly tied in to
No,
the
I think
singular target. No, it's a big difference.
Can I interject at some?
I'm not done. I'm not done. I think though I think the cost of them potentially losing in a public forum was also too great for them. I don't think it was necessarily pushing, that they're in the vaccine industry. I get that, but that's still it. I mean, you're going to get an astrophysicist onto the debate show, and he loses his butt. You think he's going to do that? No.
That's why they don't
They
do it,
have.
Paul. They don't.
That's my point. They're not going to. So this high-profile issue in court is not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Okay,
Didn't
well,
Nick West
if it's
come on
never
the
going to
show?
happen, forget that then. How about we just have Flat Earther versus Johnny Globehead, like we usually do, or you guys usually.
Well, to be fair to Greg, he was very courteous in the chat, so Greg's got some questions. If everyone's happy to move on from this subject, Greg, mic's all yours, unless somebody objects.
Go for
Am I being heard real quick?
Yeah, you are.
He's not in Discord anymore, Greg isn't.
I can hear you just fine.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah, real quick, I just want to say, like, this, Paul's right. Like, these guys are not going to come out here and debate. I mean, forget court. Neil deGrasse won't just debate a regular flat earther. He's expressly said that he won't debate flat earth.
We have people like Brian. We have people like Brian Mullins, an engineer. Someone of that ilk. Like I say, you have people into law. You've got Anthony here, who's been to university and those things. So there are many different people. There are many different walks of life that could challenge. If that's what they wanted. I don't
And you don't think,
none of this
Spurs,
makes
you
any
don't,
sense. Why would
you
they
don't,
do that as long as they're in control? Look, the only way to basically force them to come at us and build a more proper defense is actually take away their power base, which is their options to indoctrinate. So if you're going to say, look, what school is teaching is technically incorrect, this must be changed, that's when they're going to come to you. Because they have to now, because you're taking away their power base, the indoctrination center. See? That's how it works.
I would agree with that one. I would agree with that.
The judge for this case is obviously going to have been through school and been indoctrinated with the planet stuff, right? So
It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the technical correctness.
we need spiritualists that aren't attached to any earth shape to decide, to be the jury.
I mean, you're right, Dawn. Obviously, every judge has got his bias, but they're working within precedents and laws.
Yeah, that's correct. I was then thinking about that myself.
They can't be biased, Dawn. They have to make an unbiased decision, right? That's why they're the judge.
It will come right down to nuance, and the judge will have to decide, yes, I think that's evidence for curvature.
So what you can prove in the court. What can you prove in the court?
I've already shown that there's so much nuance in there, so the proof is different for each person. Right?
Not really. What we've shown is that you beg the question and use logical fallacy and apply a reification fallacy model to what we see in photographs, exclude perspective. I'd say we've got a cast iron case and you've got none as a globehead. That's what I would say.
So
all those terms, Dawn, all those terms, what Nathan's saying, the lawyer would say and the judge would understand. Like when Nathan says these things now here, they're kind of dismissed because you guys are like, well, that's probably just, But if a lawyer were to say this to the judge, they would just be thrown out of court, just like the other case.
I think it would
because the other guy, that Garcia, Dawn, what he did, he started saying things like, "Oh, he's just a conspiracy guy. He thinks everything is fake," and started to try to discredit the character, not the topic. The judge was like, "Well, what is this? What's going on? You're discrediting the character and not, the topic." That's what ball earthers do.
You haven't done enough work, so you failed. So you won the first court case, basically. Flat Earth won, didn't they? Or Globe lost is the haven't done it.
Yeah, thank you for that summary. We were aware of that. Yes, Globe lost.
So
Flat
yeah,
Earth won.
I think you should work towards the next one. I agree.
Okay, so was there any problem with my point about Johnny Globehead going into the court system? and fighting it that way.
Yeah, if you want a Pope to go and do it, I mean, I'm sure there would be something wrong with abusing the court system for a non-case. Obviously, you've got to actually have some sort of civil disagreement in order to be putting it through the process. And if you've just got some Poe there to make a point or set a precedent, I'm sure there'd be a rule against doing that. In other words, you would actually have to have a genuine person who had the counter point of view with a dispute or money outstanding or whatever else that you've got that you can put it through a case that's, applicable to a civil court. If you just have some Poe there and just make up some imaginary bet, that sounds bad to me. That sounds like that's going to land you in jail. I don't know, I could be wrong.
Right. So that's why we have to find who is basically making decisions for curricula in school and target them.
Yeah, we've already done that.
Here's something to consider.
Who?
Hold on, Paul. Yeah, we have done that. There's a problem. So, in terms of Anthony will be able to detail this better than I, but you have to wait for a change in any specific law to do with the education system in order to actually oppose it and then put the contrary point of view. You can't just go in at some random stage and say, right, I'm just going to challenge these laws. It doesn't quite work like that, unfortunately. So there's a timing issue. In other words, you've either got to force their hand in order to, look at laws or whatever, or wait for them to be changing them anyway and then get in at that correct moment. And it's like I say, I incorrectly assumed it'd be just a case you go and lobby the government or do whatever you're going to do to try and get a law changed. It's not just as simple as that. Anthony hasn't come off mic, so he is still on mute.
Hold on. I have some input about that, because then we might get lucky in the near future. Because there are over the West all kinds of issues now with the weird child indoctrination with the trannies and everything that's going on, and that's very likely to become handled at some point. So they will try to do that in court. Maybe that is the right opportunity to jump on board.
Yeah. So if there was a change, in the Education Act, then that would be the point that you'd pounce in, and that's what Anthony would be hopefully prepared to do. It's just not the case that he could utilise the work that he's done today and just submit it tomorrow. He's got to wait for a change in the Education Act. I think that's correct. Like I say, he hasn't come off mute to back any of this, so this is all really sketchy because it's coming from me. But nevertheless, that's the bare bones, rough, probably with a few errors, idea of what's currently going on from Anthony. So that angle is covered. It's not something that you can say tomorrow, well, what's happening with the Education Minister, because it's been approached. The situation's been explained to Anthony, and he knows where he stands, and has presumably got his stuff on the back burner, waiting to go when that's a possibility. But for now, it just isn't. Unfortunately, that's the way you'd expect the controlling elites to have that tied up sewn up quite tight, right? And they have.
At the same time, the political landscape is changing.
But a big because public opinion is key. So obviously, parents don't want their children lied to. So right now, the parents think their children are being told the truth about, science and discoveries and things like that. So, the only way to get that force change is, like Anthony's saying, more court cases up and down the country, all over the world.
First, you're going to have to convince those parents that they were lied to themselves. That's going to be tough.
By winning court cases up and down the country. And if we have a street, so Anthony is right. You do need a lot of low-level court cases, little victories, and then you can bring those forward to the bigger argument. Well, that was just one case.
Can I just ask you, just to put the contrary opinion across? So obviously he's not here to voice his own views on it, but as a vague idea, you've got of this guy, Validation Boy, who would call himself Flat Earth Conservative. Now, he, again, I hope I don't butcher this because I don't want him coming down on me like a ton of bricks. I can do without his aggravation. But nevertheless, he would potentially say the counter opinion, which is, who cares about public opinion? Just keep it to yourself. You've discovered this secret and realised that you're being appreciated, you're being lied to on a massive scale. You can go forth and change the way you see the world and interact with the world based on that information. But as for converting public opinion, well, what's in it for you? I'm just putting that opinion across because I know other flat earthers have that opinion. Well, at least one. validation boy.
Well, that's the question. Some of that's within that question is why do we do what? I mean, why do we do what we do? It's like a concern for our society. If our society is breaking down, we don't want a dysfunctional society, do we? Where people are living in their fantasies and dreamland. So, if you can do your bit.
Well, go on, 10th man.
In the land of fruit and nuts, the left coast called California, we had 2 times where the people voted 70 to 30 that we should have same-sex marriage annulled, and you can't do it. So the people went to the polls. It was something that the citizens of California got to choose, and overwhelmingly, in this liberal state, 7 out of 10, 2 times, said no same-sex marriage. Well, they took it to court 2 times. 2 LGBTQ-funded court cases. LGBTQ biased judges overturned the will of the people. Now, the courts are there to interpret laws, not to make laws. The legislative branch makes the laws. And so they totally stole that in court. So there's bias everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I think what some of us flat earthers are wanting is a shift in consciousness. I think that's what we're yearning for.
Well, I want to see reality, shown to be what they say it is. That's what we want. You don't have to.
Really?
You don't have to go.
You want?
No, I want reality to be shown as it is. As it is what I mean.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said, though. You just said, "I want reality to be as they say it is." That's what you just said.
Not
as they say it
is. No. Are you longing for the blue pill? Is that it?
I think so. Sounds that way.
Not as they say it is. I want. All right. I meant as it presents itself. So as we see it, this is what we should go with what we see, not with what we assume. That's the point.
That's not what you said, though.
Hold
on, Spurs. I can't let you get past this. I know you just changed your position, but originally you said you want it to be what they say it is.
No, not what they say. What's out there, what we see, representing reality. So they say we have a model, it represents reality, but we can't test that model versus reality, can we? We want something where we can look at something and then say that's reality.
You open your bloody eyes and look out your window. What's your problem? That's reality. It's right outside. I don't get it. You've gone straight to a reification fallacy and say we need something better than that, and we need to be able to look at some. What are you talking about? Reality is as it presents itself. The Earth always was flat. The fact that we were brainwashed with a paradigm that it wasn't, and we had people antipode from us and sky vacuums, is neither in nor there. The world outside your window is what it always was. We were just lied to by men about what we are on a greater scale experiencing. Well, we're not experiencing a ball Earth. We're experiencing a flat plane. That will never change. It always was. So if you want reality, go outside. Open your eyes. Simple.
I'm talking in terms of education. So when you're teaching young people, you can't teach, just go out there and look at, maybe they have questions. Well, how is the sun staying up there? How far is, children will ask these questions, which is why the teacher will try to give the best answer. But we want the answer, not just go outside, look up and make your own judgment of how far you think the sun is or what the sun is. We want to either say we don't know, we will never find out, or we're trying to find out, we're working on it. This is, things like that. No assumptions should be there at all. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, well, we'd completely agree with you then. That is
so it's just for education. We have to know things to be able to tell the curious minds. Otherwise, they're just told Santa Claus exists, and then they, So that's my concern is the education. We have to know things, not model, but when I was going to say model, but it's just knowing what the sun is, if we can ever know, how far is it, if we can ever know, the moon, what is it, and be able to tell the curious minds.
Is that basically it, Spurs? You want to know what the sun and moon are?
Again, not really for my benefit, but for curious minds. I mean, yes, it'd be interesting to know what it is, but children will want to know about the world they live in, right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to tell children if they ask, just say, I don't know, when there's possible ways of finding out? Or if there's not, we need to know that too. Like if we can't find out what the sun is, we need to know that, right?
Well,
Look, Spurs, it's one person at a time.
Hold on, man. You say we need to know that, so you phrase it out into we, right? Well, let's just put it on your doorstep. So your son or daughter or whatever comes up to you and says, "What's the sun?" What's your answer?
I would have to say I don't know, but I would like to be able to tell them what it is, if it was possible.
No, that's fine. So you don't know. That's a
Well,
perfect.
That's what I'm saying. I would say I don't know, but you would like to be able to answer them, right? They're innocent, they're curious, they're inquisitive.
I just don't want to go into the realms of hypothetical future. I just want to stick with what's what right now. So currently, a kid comes up to you and says, "What's the sun?" You say, "I don't know." Right? That's the end of that bit. Right? They walk into a government-controlled school building and say, "What's the sun?" And they get told it's a ball of gas burning. It's a bazillion times bigger than us. We're a presupposed sphere. That's what they get told in a government-controlled building. So they get told complete horseshit, unverified nonsense, non-scientific garbage. That's what they get told.
But the frustrating
hold on, Spurs.
thing
There's a
is
point. Spurs. There's a point. So, given that currently that's what's happening, forget what we would like to do in the future. Entropy isn't what it used to be. Retro Bill, shout out for the super chat. Thank you, Retro Bill. The point is that we've got two scenarios currently. One, I don't know, and may I find out in the future? Well, let's not appeal to the future just yet. Let's just understand what does currently go on. Well, they get told nonsense, spun bullshit, given religious understanding. Spurs, I know you're keen.
I wasn't speaking. That wasn't me.
That was me, Nathan. Sorry. What if they say, "Does anybody know, Dad?" What would you tell them?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak to every... Dawn, I know on your side of this argument, you appeal to people's thoughts and feelings. Yeah, you've asked the right question. You paused. Now you won't shut the fuck up, will you? Of course. When you ask a question, Dawn, phrase it concisely, then shut your mouth. Don't wait for the answer and then talk non-stop over the top of it. It's just bloody irritating.
Phrase it again.
Dawn, I can't appeal to people's motivations, thoughts, feelings. I know on your side of the argument they divine people's thoughts and feelings and paraphrase quotes all the time. That's what your side of the argument does. Do I know whether or not people at large know what the sun is? No. What I do know, though, is that people claim to know what it is and spin bullshit. Made up nonsense. Based on mathematics.
You're talking to your child now, remember?
Pardon?
The thought experiment is you're talking to your child when they ask questions. So you don't want to be acting like that. All arrogant, like.
What, saying I don't know?
No, but you were saying it like how you'd say it to me.
I am talking to you.
I was role-playing the child that wants to know what the sun is.
Oh, well, maybe you should say that before accusing me of talking down to a child when I haven't been informed by you that you're role-playing a child. Sorry, I'm not clairvoyant. There's a perfect example for you, Dawn. I was not able to divine your thoughts, even though you knew you were doing a little role-play of a child for some reason. I didn't.
My question was
Dawn, I was in the middle of a fucking sentence. Yeah? Literally in the middle of a fucking sentence. Dawn, I understand. Yeah, I'm still in the middle of that sentence, Dawn. Last chance. Dick. Asshole. Don't talk over me when I'm in the middle of a sentence. That means shut up. I understand that you have decided to role-play a child without telling anybody. But you feel because you divine the thoughts and feelings of other people that I should be able to divine your thoughts and feelings or the thoughts and feelings of people at large when it comes to an understanding of the sun. No, Dawn. I would simply say I don't know. Now, if they are to go and ask an authority figure in a government-controlled school building, they will be told complete nonsense based on an assumption of an R value of an Earth, based on Venus being the same size rock as Earth, in a heliocentric system with us spinning around the sun. All nonsense. So those people will talk crap. I will say I don't know. Simple. That's the current situation I'm trying to get across to Spurs. In terms of this special pleading, what we might find out in the future, who cares? There's only two scenarios. Me, what I would say I don't know, because I don't. And the people who absolutely do not know are just given a script to read off to their kids that they apparently teach, in quotes, nonsense about what they believe based on the priesthood the sun is.
Okay. I'm going to rephrase my question then, not roleplay the child. I'm going to say, what is your next answer when the child asks you, does anybody know what the sun is?
I don't know. I've just told you I can't divine people's...
No, is that?
I'm in the middle of answering. I'm in the middle of answering. He's asked me a question. He's interrupted. Then someone else has taken that opportunity. Yeah, I'd like to answer. I've already answered and you did not listen. I can't divine the thoughts and feelings of others. You're going to ask the same bloody question a third time?
No, I get it. You don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm not clairvoyant. That's the problem, Dawn. You guys seem to think you can divine the thoughts and feelings of people like George Musa when you decide to tell us what their thoughts and feelings are when they've said something. Not quote them, but divine thoughts and feelings. Of course, while I'm explaining that you guys on the globe side divine others' thoughts and feelings because you're all clairvoyant, yeah, I'm getting interrupted while I point that out. Of course.
Maybe if you don't send your child to the indoctrination center and then you tell them you don't know and you don't know if anyone else knows, they might just go upstairs and Google it.
Maybe, Dawn, maybe.
Their own answers. So
what you're saying is...
Wallaby, he was just saying something to you, Nathan.
Just let me round this out with Dawn. Spurs, let me just round this out with Dawn. Yeah, so what you're saying is, if they go and ask somebody a question and the person doesn't know the answer, they might take it upon themselves to find out. But your idea of finding out what a light in the sky is sitting in front of a screen and typing on a keyboard, is it, Dawn? Google searching it, you bloody wiki parroting pretender. Yeah, that's what I haven't finished. How many times? I realise that the point that you interrupt is the length of your attention. I understand that more than one sentence with a gap.
When will you finish?
When I damn well choose. When I finish is when I finish.
Everyone's wondering. Everyone's thinking the same fucking question.
Let me get it straight. Hold on. Let me get it straight. I bet £1 that was a globehead who has literally just divined the thoughts of the entire panel. This guy has just said everybody's thinking it. This clairvoyant example making my point so beautifully. Right, globehead? £1 says he's a globehead.
Well, you're just talking so much. You're talking a lot of time. You're taking up a lot of air.
He's just going to repeat himself, so I'll shut up that line and repeat what I've said while he rumpuses me with the exact same point. Yeah, you've just told us that everybody's thinking it, making my point absolutely beautifully. So you've divined the thoughts and feelings of the entire panel. You just haven't answered my question. Are you a globehead?
Yes.
Someone owes me £1. Yeah, I know, like I was pointing out to Dawn, that you, on your side of the argument, won't just say I don't know. You'll literally divine the thoughts of the entire panel and declare it on a live show to make my example. You beautiful bastard, you.
No, I'm just saying that you're talking a lot.
Yeah, your point being made a third time.
It's his show.
Yeah, it's my show, you stupid shit. Yeah, I'll talk as long as I damn well see fit. When I'm making a point to Dawn, this is the actual point that you've just rumpused while you tell me that everybody thinks the same as you do because you're clairvoyant. Making my example beautifully. Well done, dick brain. Yeah, I'll make my point now that you see fit to interrupt and say that everybody's decided they don't want to listen to. Dawn's told us that when trying to figure out what the sun is, should a child he tells that he doesn't know, His reaction, when he's role-playing a little boy or a little girl, who knows, is to say he would go to a computer screen and Google search what the light in the sky was, as opposed to actually figuring out what the light in the sky is. That's Dawn's reaction.
I don't think that's what Dawn said at
Google
all.
search
Dawn
it,
didn't say
not to investigate
Yeah,
the light in the sky. It's Rumpus time. The conclusion's coming. So,
Probably why I
yeah, the
interrupted.
conclusion. This is the conclusion. Rumpus, rumpus, globe mute button, not interested, divine people's thoughts, repeat yourself 4 times. Yeah, if I was going to try and figure out what something was, I'd look at that thing and try and figure out what it was. I wouldn't go to Google, but that's what your side of the argument would do, Dawn. You'd Google search it, and then Rumpus, my point, that we are on the flat earth side, typically a bit more free thinking. You know, we don't tend to just trust the thing we Google search. When we're looking to investigate something, we'll investigate the thing we're looking at, as opposed to just go straight to Google. That's the difference between you and I, Dawn. You'll Google search and rumpus the shit out at this point. Yeah? That's the difference between you and me. You'd Google search it. That's where you'd find the answer, in quotes.
No. We're trying to ascertain what you would tell your children, Nathan.
What you would tell your
children when they ask you.
Yeah, I've heard his question. I've heard his question and answered it, you stupid idiot. Is this the same moron? Yeah, I answered it. I said I don't know. We're now at the point that Dawn's asked me hypothetically what that child would do when he's got a don't know answer.
Okay, we got your answer.
Just don't rumpus me shit for brains. Yeah, we've got to the point beyond what I say to that child. We've got to the point that the child's actually taken some inclination to look for himself or herself, and according to Dawn, that's the point they go and Google search it. Not my kid. If my kid wanted to know what the sun was, I'd expect my kid to look at the sun and try and figure out what the sun was, not what's on a computer screen. Like you. Yeah, of course. It's going to be rumpus every time I get to that conclusion, isn't it? Because it's embarrassing for you fundies who Google search stuff when you need an answer. What's the sun? Better Google search it.
Let's see who she trusts, her dad or Google.
It's not about, oh my God, you're a moron. Her dad's told that he doesn't know, and you're still going to Google. It's just a false dichotomy between someone who says they don't know and a Google search, according to Dawn. What a dumbo.
Well,
at no point, Dawn, at no point would you go and look at the sun to figure out what the sun is. No, my bad, that's just ludicrous. Google search immediately. That's got the answer.
I was really into science and cosmology at that age, then maybe I'd look at the sun to find out.
Maybe.
But if my dad just says I don't know and no one knows, yeah, I might end up looking on the internet for another answer.
Just keep saying it. Tina Baker, thank you very much for the super chat. She says, he doesn't speak for me.
Thought experiment. She comes down and she says, Dad, Google says the sun is a big ball of gas and heat. So how come you said you didn't know if it's all over the internet?
Sorry, Dawn, go and have this hypothetical conversation somewhere else. You're boring the other panel members, apparently. Apart from Tina Baker, who makes it very clear that the guy who divined her thoughts, definitely you don't speak for her. Thanks again for the super chat, Tina Baker.
I'm sure that I don't speak for everybody on the panel.
Yeah, you did, though. Everybody. Those were the words you used. Do you not remember the word you used? You used the word everybody. That's what you said. Everybody thinks. Dipshit. That was you.
Well,
embarrassment.
That was only when you were carrying on.
You're an embarrassment, my friend. Yeah, you're not going to get to rumpus me pointing out that you are an embarrassment when you literally divine the thoughts of the other people on the panel, while I'm pointing out to Dawn that your side of the argument divines the thoughts of people. That's well embarrassing. You should just keep quiet, my friend.
Well, I take it back. I take back saying...
Just shut up. Don't take it back. You're a moron. You divined the thoughts of everybody literally while I was making an example about globeheads divining everybody's thoughts and feelings. You complete moron. Just shut up. Hey, Travis, how you doing?
Good.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Hello. Scientific evidence of what?
Yay, what's up, Travis?
Oh, the other Travis.
Yeah, other Travis.
So even though the internet says the sun's a big ball of gas, actually no one knows.
Yeah, the internet is not per definition an arbiter of truth. There's a lot of information. Doesn't mean that everything on there is the truth. There's a lot of contradictions on the internet. Did you know, Don?
This is Charles speaking. they're getting answers from the internet where they're not getting them from their parents because their parents don't know.
That Google search is a second law of thermodynamics violation on multiple fronts. That's the problem.
I don't think a Google search is a second law of thermodynamics violation. I'm looking forward to this explanation. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, well, first of all, you have a gas or gases in a vacuum. Problem there. Problem number one. Number two,
right?
It said that the core of the sun is 15 million degrees Kelvin. The photosphere is approximately 5,700 degrees Kelvin. The chromosphere is like 10 million Kelvin, and the corona is like 30 million Kelvin. You see the problem there?
No, I don't see any problem with that. What's the problem?
No, I don't see the
That's like,
problem.
I'll tell you what the problem is. That's like standing near a bonfire and you move back 500 meters because it's too hot, and then you spontaneously combust.
So you see what you're seeing there is that it's cooler in the center of the sun than it is on the outside of the sun. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Very
Well,
surface.
there's a bunch of problems with
Saying that
gradients.
it gets hotter on the outside than it is on the inside.
Yeah,
Right?
the corona is a bit hotter than just under the corona, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
How
that's
did
a
you
big
measure
problem.
that?
But it doesn't even matter because their
probing
story's a train wreck. So
Well,
it
I'd
doesn't
like
really
to know
matter.
how they measured those
Well,
temperatures.
Well, they do it through formula. It has to do with formulas and
Oh,
things
so
like
they
that.
No,
deduced
they
it,
don't.
did
They
they?
do it through.
They deduced it.
I'll tell
They
you if you
extrapolated
shut
the
up for a second,
information. They
Harlan.
didn't actually measure it. That's interesting.
Oh my God, they did measure it. See, if you'd shut your pie hole for a second,
Oh, really?
yeah, then you might know. Take a guess on how they would estimate the temperatures of the sun.
Spectroscopy?
Estimate. Oh, so it is not measurement. You with your
Spectroscopy.
big mouth, John. Yeah, that shit right there, dude.
So it doesn't matter
Probably-
anyway. Like I
Yeah,
said, that's the story that they give us.
It could be spectroscopy. It could be that
Can you say
they
that again?
might know a big ball of gas like that in the middle of space would react this way. They're talking about nuclear fission within the sun. So there's a number of factors there that they might come up with these numbers and data.
And you think a big ball of gas just hanging out in space is feasible?
Yeah, and spectroscopy. What's that?
So you know all about thermodynamics, but you've never heard of spectroscopy. That's weird.
No,
that's not what he said.
Go ahead.
Spectrometer.
That's not what he said.
You're gonna make fun of me mispronouncing words? Come on.
Yeah. If you come
Let's
here
not
and
go
you
down
don't
that-
understand the
let's not
words
go
you're
down that
using.
road.
All good, ninja. All good, ninja.
No, not all good.
Words
natures.
that somebody who says them ought to know how they're said. Thank you.
So, Dad, you know all about thermodynamics, but you don't know what the sun is.
No, I don't know about spectroscopy.
Natural laws of the universe, you know about them, but you don't know what the sun is.
I think the question is, can we know?
I just want an answer to this.
Shut up,
John, hold on. John, do you know what the sun is? Yes or no?
I have no idea.
There you go. There's your answer, John.
Okay. I find that a bit weird. You've got no idea what the sun is, but you know universal natural laws.
I'll tell you what. I know what it's not. That's for damn sure.
I think that it's fine to say that we don't have a complete knowledge of the sun.
No, you do.
Yeah,
The
you can
story
say
is
that
that
again.
you do.
You say that again, including actual proof of its physicality. That's right.
Yeah, Owen's right and John's right. John, yeah, you're right. You don't have a knowledge of what the sun is, but that's not what you claim. It's written down. It's taught to children.
But we do know most of what it is. We know mostly what the sun is.
Tell us.
Sure, it's mostly a second law of thermodynamics violation.
Well, how is it? How is that? Explain that to me, please.
I just did
How
about
is-
2 minutes ago. If you would have listened, Mr. Spectroscopy, then you would have heard it.
Okay. Okay.
It's the
Well,
example
explain
where
it
he.
again.
The example where
I wasn't listening.
I'm not explaining it again.
So he's talking about being next to a bonfire, and you go, "Oh, this bonfire's a bit too hot." So you back away 10 feet, and it gets so much hotter that you burst into flames after backing away from the fire.
Right. Okay.
Above it, isn't it? Than in it.
Maybe in a microwave setup that could actually work. But
I
yeah,
don't
that would
think that's
change the entire
acceptable.
nature of the sun.
Not an acceptable disagreement with what the sun is, and I
Sorry.
don't think Nathan Oakley has an acceptable explanation of what the sun is.
I said I don't know. What you talking about? I said I don't know.
Is this guy
you don't
kidding?
think I don't know is an acceptable explanation? It's not an explanation. I haven't got an explanation at all.
And
I
he
made that
didn't
very
I know what the
clear.
sun is. I know what the sun
He
is.
admitted to not paying attention.
Nathan, this
He
is the
didn't make
problem.
the
This is what I
claim.
was saying.
Nathan didn't
These
make the
guys-
claim.
these-
You
these
did,
guys are like,
Spectroscopy. Shut up, Keem. I'm going to shut him up. He didn't make the claim, Spectroscopy. Nathan didn't make the claim that he did know. You did.
Just said we mostly know.
I think
I know what the
you're
sun is.
incorrect. I said I didn't know about
Oh,
the
God.
sun, but I do know that there are many people that have spent their lives
Oh,
studying
God.
these things.
Give us a break.
And
Give us a break
I
with
never,
your
I never
nonsense
claimed
that
that I
you're
knew
parroting.
about the sun.
You're just droning
I
on
don't think
about
I ever
nothing.
did.
No, he's actually
Spectroscopy.
speaking
Who
now.
is
Just
this?
let him for a
Who
moment,
is this?
okay?
Why, Owen? He's droning on about nothing. Oh, there's people who've spent their entire lives studying it on Google.
Yeah, this is nothing. That's not nothing. That's a big
Especially
thing.
after
They know.
he
Fine,
just
no
he
worries.
just claimed
Okay,
that
I'm
Nathan
getting moaned at.
Oakley-
No worries.
Not
Sorry, the
only
guy who
on
was talking.
Google,
The guy who's talking.
Like
What
they
was your
haven't-
name?
like,
Sorry.
We're talking about like actual
Sorry,
people
what's your
in
name?
the field,
What's your name, my friend?
right? But the people that put the information
Yeah, don't keep
on
speaking
Google
about the
for us
same
to
bloody
look at.
claim. This gets tiring. We heard your claim, right? Okay, people have spent their entire lives. Name one.
Oh, boy.
What do you want me to say?
Listen again without interrupting me. I have been told off because we have claimed you're droning on about nothing and objections fly left and right. Your current statement is that people have spent their entire lives studying the sun. I've said name one.
Well, I believe you can Google it.
That's
You're
okay.
not
Stop.
asking us for
Okay, my friend.
instructions,
Right.
okay?
Anybody who was objecting to me and John saying this guy's droning on about nothing, he's just told us that his claim that was a drone on about nothing is that we could Google search some bullshit he's made up about people he doesn't know, has never studied, has no idea about. Yeah, thank you. We know how to use Google, my
I
friend.
literally just Googled
Yeah,
it and I found the name of someone. that's
Dawn.
I've
We
studied
already
the sun.
know, Dawn. We already know your position is you can Google it. This dipshit's position is also we could Google his claim. Thank you, mister. I've got nothing to say here.
Hold on. Do you think that you're going to get reputable people in here? People who are part of the scientific field?
Don't project your shit just because you're not reputable and I've absolutely nothing to say. Yes, there are reputable people here, dipshit. Okay? Just because you're a complete moron, don't project that onto everybody here. You're not going to divine the credentials of everybody here, you stupid man. Just shut up. You can't divine people's credentials. You've no idea. You are just a dipshit. So only speak for yourself from now on. You're going to really piss me off if you continue to divine people's credentials. Bloody
He wants
glowheads.
credentials.
Yeah, he's
George
just said
Mooser.
you're not going to get people on here
Gravity's
that...
not a force. 2019, buddy.
Wasn't Mick West on the debates? Isn't he?
There's been
kind
plenty
of
of people here with credentials. He's just talking shit because he doesn't have any. He's a complete retard. So he's going to project that shit over everybody here. Oh, everybody else is
Why
as
was I
retarded as me.
invited?
Everybody else is stupid, just like I am. So I'm going to tell you that nobody's going to come here who's more intelligent than me, and I'm completely retarded. Yeah, that's you, the guy who's demonstrated about 3-4 times that you're retarded. Especially when you divine the thoughts of everybody on the panel when I was pointing out that Dawn shouldn't be divining the thoughts of everybody in the bloody world.
I
That's
think
not
you're very
fair,
ill-informed,
Nathan.
sir,
You're not
because you
making a fair
obviously haven't paid
comparison at
attention
all.
to what has been going on in the debates, or you would have known better than to make such a statement. The debates have been going on daily for a very long time, and a lot of people have been part of it. So you obviously just don't know what you're talking about.
And with that, I'll say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all of that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!